Hello YouTube friends. So this video is going to be in like two little pieces and I just wanted to give an intro. So today I wanted to share with you what a typical daily study of Inner Wands Tarot School is like. So the information that's going to follow as soon as I stop talking is the way that I am teaching the Wheel of Fortune in Inner Wands Tarot School. So we start tomorrow. If you're watching this live, we start on Sunday, August 7th, because this really is a mostly go at your own pace with like live support calls sprinkled in. This is not super time sensitive. If you see this in a week and you're like, oh my gosh, I missed it. No, you can come in. My plan is to leave registration open until probably like the 15th, maybe the 20th, but at least the 15th. So if you're seeing this and you're like, oh my gosh, I want in, that's fine. You've got a week. And if this is after August 15th or so, I plan on doing this again, at least at the first of the year, if not beforehand. So what follows is a nice little taste of Inner Wands Tarot School. I talk about the Discord group that is only available to members. If you have any questions, leave me a comment, drop me an email. I would love for you to join us. And either way, enjoy learning about the wheel. Hello friends, welcome to day 6 of Inner Wands Tarot School. And today's card is number 10, the Wheel of Fortune. I will confess straight out of the gate while you're digging in your deck for the Wheel of Fortune that I tend to leave off of fortune. In my brain, this card is the wheel and it stops there. So if you're brand new to tarot and I'm talking about the wheel and you're like, is she talking about the Wheel of Fortune? The answer to that question is yes. So if you're still digging around in your deck for the Wheel of Fortune, that's absolutely fine. But go ahead and pause until you find it, because I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to flip this deck over so we're not looking at more cards, and I'm going to go ahead and start talking about the wheel. So the wheel is this, what goes around turns around. The world is always turning. We're always either moving away from something or towards something. And this, I think there's this real encouragement in this card to recognize the impermanence of everything. Like, I feel like if we could boil down what yoga is trying to teach me, it is held within this card. That what is wonderful is temporary, what is painful is temporary. Sometimes we're not sure which way the wheel is turning. Sometimes we're not sure if we're trying to hold on to not fall off the edge or to fall into the middle. Sometimes we can't see where we are on the wheel. But this card encourages us, reminds us that control is an illusion and that sometimes we can't see what we're in until we're past it. I've gotten so excited that I've spit. I've spit on this card. So again, sometimes we don't understand where we are in the cycle until we have some distance from it and are able to see it. The wheel encourages us to go with the flow, to trust that if we're in a hard time, that good things are coming, to know that if we're in good things, they won't be that good forever. And I think though, even though there's a lot of karma type energy that's often wrapped up in the wheel, to me it is more about the wheel's lack of care, lack of sympathy, lack of emotion toward what we're going through. Like, if you think about this like being one of the old school merry-go-rounds, not the one with the horses, but the ones that you would run with, you know, to make spin and then jump on the middle. The wheel itself doesn't care if you can't hold on any longer. The wheel itself doesn't care if, you know, if your shoestring gets caught somewhere, or, you know, if your sunglasses fly off your head, or if you're having the best time of your life. None of that is the concern of the wheel. The concern of the wheel is to keep spinning. And we're on the wheel as just a side effect of being human. A side effect of being on this planet is our existence on this wheel in processes that we don't understand, in times where things are moving too fast or maybe they're moving too slow. The wheel goes with its own time. And this card is an invitation to be present with that, to stay aware of our bodies, to stay aware of our grounding within that energy, but to not waste energy trying to slow it down or not waste energy trying to speed it up. Understanding there are some things that are out of our control. And what we have to do here is hang on. To tend to yourself in the moment that you're in, and to trust that when the wheel slows down or when you're at a different phase in the wheel, you'll be able to understand what happened and why. So I do like to think about the wheel sort of to help me understand the flow of numerology through the minors. I'm just going to talk about this just a second. You'll see, we'll do a whole talk about numerology where I'll mention this. But if we think about the aces and the tens both being at the top like a clock, we move around where we're kind of devolving. We get to a 5 when we're really at the lowest, the most confused, and then we make our way through the 6, 7, 8, 9, and back to the 10. So I like to use the wheel of fortune as a way to help me see that even though the 5 feels like the furthest point from the beginning, it's also a place where we are straight in line with both where we started and where we're going. So yeah, I talked a lot and I feel like I kind of floated all over the place, but the wheel is reminding us to accept the impermanence of whatever it is that we're currently experiencing, to not waste energy trying to speed up or slow down, and also to trust that if we're completely confused, perspective will come with time. So there is a ton of symbology in this card, and I'm only going to touch on like the highlights and what I feel is necessary to understand the card without getting bogged down into it. So first, the wheel is this energy, this reminder of like a clock, what goes around comes around. What is meant for you. If you miss it this time, it'll come back around in the cycle, right? And where we are is not forever. The book is this representation of how sometimes like things make sense upon like different readings, and that we are gaining the knowledge that we need to move on, even if we don't fully understand it here. And I love the way that the different creatures here are using the book. We have reading, we have writing, we have reading, and like tearing it apart. I don't know, but we use the book, we use our knowledge differently at different points in our lives. So the Sphinx is representative of what is unknown. The snake is representative of renewal and rebirth. So we're always in that process. And then the clouds typically represent our thoughts. We'll see that a lot as we go through the swords, but I think that the clouds here really have this energy again of change, of things float away. Nothing's permanent. We pay attention to what's here while it's here. But things just float by like the clouds. So in my deck, in the Narrative Alchemy Tarot, I talked about the wheel as revolution. I associated it with the solar plexus chakra, with how we show up in the world, how we acknowledge our influence, our power, our purpose, and how we actively live and show up in the world fully connected to ourselves. And I really think about revolution as, again, recognizing that that's the constant cycle that we're in between difficulty and ease, between challenge and relaxation, between distraction and presence, and starting to see all of these opposites that we tend to struggle with, that we can get lost in teasing them apart and thinking about how to make A turn into B, where instead can we see these things as a cycle? Can we let our own internal opposites be something that comes around and goes around, and letting struggle and ease, focus and distraction, letting them coexist? Recognizing our cycles instead of expecting to be only one all the time. And when we think about our own process as a revolution, it helps us to think about how what we've learned will impact the next revolution. That the next turn of the wheel, even if the situations are completely the same, will react to them differently because of how we've changed and grown. I like this card a lot. Let's see, I'm gonna take minutes. Is there anything else that I missed? We learn from our histories, we look at our cycles, and also then being realistic about our expectations of ourselves at different times in our cycles, whether that is our monthly cycle, our yearly cycle, our work year cycle, our school year cycle, recognizing that at different points along the wheel, we'll have different energies for commitments. So just taking where we are in that cycle as also a part of what we decide to do when in our lives. So bring your card from your deck, your Wheel of Fortune. Bring that back into your hands if you've set it down. As an old truck just drives by my house. And taking a moment to look at your card, and where do you see what we talked about? What symbolism showed up? What do you see in your card that can solidify what your intuition, what the guidebook, what I said, into the visual image of this card, making that connection? So for me, the concentric circles here, and this is the guided hand tarot, the concentric circles here tell me about, like I was saying, the cycle of change and how we can go through the same thing multiple times, and how we've grown, what we've learned can change how we look at the same point on the wheel. So really like that progression of experience, I see that within the wheel. I am not a big zodiac person. That's, my brain just doesn't work that way yet. So these symbols don't mean a lot to me, but I recognize that, again, this is like the passage of time and the repetition of cycles. Like I see that and I get that. I'm also very intrigued by the circles that are coming above and below, which makes this look very much like the moon phases, with the hole in the middle and then waxing and waning. I can never remember which one which, but you know what I mean. So seeing that energy in the card as well, again, to bring in this piece of cycles. And then I really like the compass here in the middle of this card. And I guess, I don't know that I would have put it into the imagery here, but seeing ourselves as the compass, as the constant in the middle of all of the change. And if we see the change as being impermanent and always in flux, recognizing that there is a part of me, a part of ourselves that is stable, that is the compass. I like this Wheel of Fortune. So looking at our progression, last time we met, we had the sun. So looking at the joy in our lives, how the work, the effort that we've done has brought us to this place of joy and acknowledgement. Moving today toward the Wheel of Fortune, and how this is a cycle and this sunny moment isn't going to last forever. I'm going to invite you to shuffle your deck, and this is going to be I've said this in some of the intro materials, but I want to make sure you hear me say it again today. Sometimes our third card is directly about us. Sometimes it holds meaning for us today. And sometimes it is simply a tool to help us see the progression of experience that can happen. So I'm really liking my third prompt for today, but I want to acknowledge that if you are not in a particularly sunny spot right now, that this may not ring true to you today. So if you draw a third card and you're like, Chrissy, this makes absolutely no sense. One, bring it to the Discord group and we can talk about it there. Or two, use this progression as a chance to learn about yourself and to learn about the cards without necessarily like having to make it mean something about you today. Okay, so the sun, recognizing the joyful place we're in, the Wheel of Fortune, recognizing nothing lasts forever, and then letting your third card represent what you want to remember about today. What is sunny about today? What is the work you have done to get you to today? Where are you in the wheel? Where your place on the wheel and your joy, how those two go together. Let your third card be a representation of that today. Simply being present in the joy of today. If you get a negative card, this could be fun. Let's talk about it. So, friends, I hope you enjoyed today. Again, any questions, any reflection on your reading, of course, where the Discord group is there, me and all of us to be of assistance. I hope you have an absolutely lovely rest of your day, and I can't wait to see you next time. Bye.